Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome to a new episode of Last of Epoch. Yep, this is my first episode of Last of Epoch. Well, besides any VODs that I put up from my stream, but in my stream, people have been asking me for my build and how they could play what I'm doing in the game. And so I'm completely new to this. I've never done a guide for Last Epoch before, so I don't know what the common stuff is for a guide, but basically what I thought is most helpful stuff is telling you exactly what I did. So I can tell you my skill tree, what I took, my skills I chose to use, and the specializations, and then the order of the trees, what you should prioritize, and maybe what to prioritize on the gear. Now let's get into it. So we'll start with the tree, because that's where you start. Passive tree. Down here, you start at the bottom. My first 5 points I would put into Bone Aura or Forbidden Knowledge. So 8 points in Forbidden Knowledge and 2 in Bone Aura. First 5 go, let's say 5 into Forbidden Knowledge, because you need 5 in the first row to get to the second row. And then when you're here, it says requires 5 in the Acolyte base passives, these ones. So you put 4 in Dark Rituals and 1 in Stolen Vitality for the next 5 levels, so from 5 to 10. And then for the next row, I skipped it, so I went back to the first row and filled it out. Another 3, another 2. So there's the first 15 points on your skill tree. This extra one comes later. So then I put 5 in Crimson Gluttony, and then the 1 in the Soul Aegis. That's 21. Don't put the extra 22, the 5th one in this, till later. And then in here, you have to put 5 points in Risen Army, then 1 point in Blood Armor and 4 points in Cursed Blood, then 5 points in Mortal Tether. I started with 5 points in Aegis Fall, then I did 1 point in Unbound Necromancy, and 4 points in Mark of Punishment. Mark of Punishment gives a mark for death when your minions die and gives 40% chance for resistance minus 25. And then I went for Tyrant to reduce the minion life by a little bit and gain some, but I needed 3 points in this so I could get up to this. And then I put some points in Effigies just so I had enough points in this to get to the next row. Then I put 5 points in Cling to Life. Then I put some in Tyrant's Legion and Empty the Graves. This is armor and health regen per minion. This is extra skeletons. This was Vitality and Minion All Res. When you go up here with the 3 points, then you get an extra Skeleton Mage. And then I also chose that whenever I cast a spell, I'll sacrifice a % of my life to give Frenzy and Haste for 5 seconds. It's fucking crazy with a 10-second cooldown. And then originally I had taken 1 point in River of Bones, 3 points in Heresy, and 1 point in Blades of the Forlorn. But I don't like this crit version that much anymore, because crit is more of a cold version, and I've now gone for the attack speed with poison route. So my melee minions have a chance to poison. I ended up going for Rotting Army after. And we go for attack speed, and that's why I came back for this node after attack speed. It's so we can stack poison, because poison ends up being flat damage in this. It doesn't scale off of your damage. You just need attack speed. And then we run the damage over time for the minions on the weapon. But that's the passive tree. It's pretty simple. And like I said, I then came back after and added the extra poison, the attack speed, which is when you're like leveling up to 70, 80, using your extra points. Then for skills and specialization, so basically here we have 17 skills, but we can only use 5. These ones you don't actually get until you do the Necromancer like this. So for example, you have to allocate some points in this tree to get up to this line, and then you unlock Skeleton Mage. So let's say when there's no points, this background is gray, and as you fill out the points, this background raises up like a glass of water being filled. It's going up and up and up, and then when it crosses these lines, you unlock the skills. and so you can unlock Skeleton Mage right at the beginning. Wraith is supposed to be in here, but it doesn't show now. That's weird. Maybe you start with Wraith. I don't remember. But either way, I chose Skeleton Warriors, and so I went first. I go down 2 to Necrotic Conviction to get extra max life for the Warriors. Then I got an extra Skeleton, and then I removed the Archers. So in 4 points, you can already be a pure Skeleton Warrior build, which is really fucking strong. And if they're dying, you can even add Bone Armor in 1 more point and make it always up in 2 more points. So it's pretty strong, and then you could get more Necrotic Conviction for the extra life, or you could get Leech, or you could get Crit, extra Skelly, attack speed, extra Skelly. So it doesn't matter which one you do after that, it's just more Skellies. Yeah, very simple. And then my other main minion. So this like main DPS. This is my survivability and utility. So we have a Bone Golem, and I chose to go for, well, personally, I went down to health and armor first, and then to taunt, the threat generated. I wanted my Bone Golems to be the taunt for the build, and they also provide move speed. And originally, I had went down to the Spectral Golem, and I was fearing, and it was pretty cool, but honestly, it sucks. And I would highly recommend going the Blood Golem, and then it'll do Rip Blood and Hunger, and it'll heal you, and the sustain and the survivability off of this golem is fucking ridiculous, and it also helps keep itself alive. Then we went 4 points up here in Amalgam of Rogues, and 1 point in Twinned Golems to get an extra Golem PogChamp, because I think that maybe the damage and the health won't matter, and having an extra one giving more poison stacks could also be useful, since all of my minions should be poisoning and bleeding. I also went bleed on the chest plate, bleed on the relic, so that my minions are bleeding as well. So the damage over time scaling doesn't just scale the poison, but pretty much we started as just a melee physical build, and well, melee minion build. It doesn't even have to be physical specifically either. It's very nice in this game, and then you can customize it just slightly, 1 extra mod, and boom, now we have poison, now we have bleed. This game's so easy. For this one, this is the Skeleton Mages, but I don't want Skeleton Mages because it would be a spell, and we're trying to do melee, and we're trying to do poison. You might be able to poison off a mage, okay? But, because it even says Skeleton Mage hits have a chance to poison. What I did instead is I went 2 points into this Leech Life, and then Death Knights. So in 3 points, we remove Skeleton Mages, and we're pure Death Knights. Then you can go this ability called Hungering Souls, which with additional projectiles, 8-second cooldown, 4 additional projectiles. We get another 2 additional projectiles from this Splintered Dominion, which not high priority. I shouldn't have mentioned it yet. These 4 points down to this, and then I did the base crit 2 into Cellar Mortis, 2 into Grey Merchant, and then I got the extra Skeleton Mage down here. After that, I fill in the rest. Extra base crit, extra crit multi, extra area, extra poison. Not bad. You can only go up to level 20 unless you level these up more with gear. Mods on gear. For this is my movement skill, Transplant. So this teleports. I went for Bone Armor. So we get automatic Bone Armor for dashing. And then I went more Bone Armor, and it lasts longer, and this costs less life, and we make pools of blood that slows enemies, and then the pools of blood also heals us for 9% maximum health per second. And then we also make our minions do 40% increased damage when we use this for 4 seconds. And we also have cast speed and cost, and then this makes the Rip Blood that casts off of using this hit 3 targets instead of 1, or it casts it 3 times instead of 1, so you heal a shit ton off of dashing into a pack. And then finally, so the skeletons are permanent minions. They're like zombies. The Skeleton Mages are Death Knights that are tankier versions of zombies, so kind of like a stone golem, okay? Then we got the Golems, which is 2 Blood Golems, which is more like Baron zombies. And you can even see here that this is the Bone Armor effect on them, and they're permanently keeping it up because of the amount of cooldown that I have on them. If you do one more, it's too much, and the duration is too long, it's a waste. And if you do the extra one, then it makes it affect the other minions and me, which doesn't even show up as a buff. It just shows up on me, which is really weird. But these are all my minions. I wanted to show this so that I could show that these are all the ones that follow me, and they're permanent. It's pretty crazy how many we have. And then I can also do this. So in that location, it summons 7 wraiths, and I can do it multiple times. And so I've gotten up to a pretty high number of wraiths. And then these all do damage, and let me show you what I have on these. So for this, I went, I go this way first. So we'd go to Locus of Resurrection, 1 point. 2 points into Dark Scythe, 1 point in Echoes Inside, then extra points on Army of Wraiths, and Stygian River for the cooldown recovery speed and Wraith interval. And this one's really fun. Spectre of Death is really good early, because when you are doing the timeline echoes endgame mapping system, you're gonna maybe sometimes choose to give regen, and then this makes it so your the target has reduced regen by 20% per stack, so you could get it up to obviously no regen. Then after I did all this stuff for the billion spawn, so it does 7 and it does all that shit, get them to summon tons, 7 of them, and make them spawn faster and make them damned. I then went this way, and we get the Grave Reality, making them have more life. They cost more, reduce cast speed, but you needed that just so you could get to Noxious Blades to make the melee attacks have poison. I already had poison from the other skill tree, but I wanted Putrid Wraith to have a chance to instead summon a Putrid Wraith, which poison enemies from a distance. Wraiths deal more damage multiplicative with other modifiers. So then there's even a route later, part of this poison. I'm not fully poisoned yet, so that's why we haven't fully converted, but I recommend my start. My start is really strong for everything, and it doesn't go down the poison route until later. So that's why I'm confident in being able to put out my starter and my build up until the end game, the super end game that I'm at right now, because it literally has been smooth up until now. And then I'm even going to tell you the mods to look for your gear, and maybe some other helpful advice. So that's the passive tree in order and priority, and then how to go back and add some extra mods at the end after. So I'll say it again. Regular skill tree that I had that you need to put in, like the 5, the 5, the 5, the 5, yeah? And then you go back and you get the extra poison chance, you get this extra attack speed, you get the extra attack speed on the skill tree, maybe the extra armor shred nodes, maybe the extra effigies for the chance to consume the minion to heal yourself so you don't die, so you're immune. There's also the extra life for the minions. There's extra damage, there's mark for death, there's getting the poison chance from this, there's even bleed duration if we wanted to. I don't know. I don't think that's very good. Side things, side tips. You can buy stashes with gold. So you save your gold and buy stashes. In your filter, you could set it so that you can add a rule to show with recolor of, let's say, magenta, that when you find an affix of any tier more than, let's say, 3, so it's a tier 4 or higher of any affix, you have to select them. But you could then go in and like select the specific mods too, and so you could use filters to highlight good bases, good mods to look for, and this could simplify it for you. You can also hide the other class specific items. I made sure to show all of the good items, and then I made sure to show specific mods. So for our build, I chose all attributes, intelligence, vitality. I chose health, resistance, all the resistances, including all resistance, which is the actual OP one, this one. So besides that, minion. I choose to look at every single minion mod. Move speed's really important. And then under Acolyte, we have minion freeze rate, Skelly mage damage, damage to minions reflected to attackers, shared fire, shared necrotic, shared bleed duration, shared bleed effect, physical damage leached as life. I don't think this one works. This increased crit for you and your minions. So sick. Crit for the Skelly and mages. +1 skeleton and Skelly damage, +1 to skeleton. So this is what I would recommend. I don't know how to export this filter. I'll try to leave a paste bin to my filter if I can. So you guys can just use my filter and change. So to show it in here, you could change. So I have all the mods you could be wanting probably for the minion build, and then you would just change this to the tier that you want higher than. So if you're in the beginning, maybe do like a lower. Maybe don't even use a filter at first and just work with nothing. It's honestly pretty effective. But all I was trying to point out is that on gear, the main things you're going to be looking for is in the beginning, to keep it simple for you, honestly, is minion damage, minion health. Bases can also have it. So turquoise, AMI, turquoise rings have minion damage, minion health. The AMI turquoise has minion damage, minion crit. So bases can matter, but other than that, it's just minion damage, minion health. Your resistances, some life in the beginning. Honestly, the resistances aren't that important because the shit doesn't do that much damage, and it's kind of made for you not to be capped, so you can get away with learning it slowly of capping your shit, unless you're hardcore, I guess. But in the beginning, minion health, minion damage was really nice. Felt like the best shit. Still seems really, really strong because the generic flat minion damage is universal. It'll work for all my minions, where a lot of this stuff I showed is like skeleton specific, this specific. It doesn't sound that good compared to buffing them all up. So then on the two-hander weapons, I was able to get minion melee damage, there's minion physical damage, there's minion spell damage, minion damage over time. So I've gone for more the melee or the physical for the weapon. For helmet, minion life, minion damage, or bone golem. Chestplate, chance to bleed, skeleton, minion damage, stuff like that. Minion damage can go on everything. Minion health can go on everything, so that's pretty generic. This relic doesn't have to be chance to bleed. You could instead go for a regular relic, like this one, which is Ruined Bones, and it has minion damage, minion move speed, minion health. That's pretty cool. And so then generally your items are just straight up minion damage, minion health, and resistances. You don't even have to go life for this game. It's really easy unless we're hardcore. We're not going hardcore yet. And finally, intelligence scales the minions. So intelligence is actually a good stat for the minions. Intelligence scales them. Resistances, minion damage, minion cold. That's like all you need for the beginning, basically. It gets you so far just knowing to go for minion damage and minion health and shit. Gave you the skills, gave you the tree. Oh yeah, idols. So currently idols, you just you unlock these while you do your quest. So you don't even have this at first, but then as you get these, it's just like Diablo 2. Just put in idols that have like resistances that you need. So I'd recommend just to store up idols that have resistances, and then you could just swap them in when you need them. And so for me, mine are 17 fire, 16 fire, 7 necrotic, 6 necrotic, 7 LE, 16 void, 15 necrotic, and then this is where I get some weird shit. I have 4% chance to inflict plague on hit. Plague is a non-stacking debuff, and it's just poison. So I have poisoned in the build, but then I also have plague, and it's a separate poison that doesn't stack. So I don't really know how much damage it does or how good it is, but I did it. And then we have increased minion poison damage, and we also have minion poison damage. It's pretty sick. It's super crazy. And what I ended up doing was yesterday, after buying all these stashes out, I ended up just storing all the good loot that I pick up. So everything like T4 or higher of the good mods, so that you can literally just go through, pick bases, and craft on them with the deterministic crafting. So I haven't explained this part yet. It's kind of intense. I'll just take a random ring. That's pretty good, actually. Let's take a super random thing. Okay, this. This is an example. So I pick up all these items, and then so I've already gone over build specific. I think it's pretty done, and I'll just leave the filter in the description below, and that should be good. I think we're fine on everything, and then it's just the gameplay would just be minions kill, and it's POG. I think everyone can get that part. It's the same as all my builds. So then for this, if you press F, you can call up the forge, and then you can put this tower shield in, and it tells you the mod it has and the tier. So this is T4 minion health, and then you can select a modifier to shatter it from Rune of Shatterings, and then I broke it down into a shard that I can use for crafting.
What brings you here?
One side thing is I remembered I should show this. You can go into this shop, the armor shop, and you can buy Runes of Shattering usually for 2,000. You should check the shop after every map for Runes of Shattering. And then the next thing is I showed you that you could shatter an item down for the mods. Some shards of the tier of mods. So the higher the tier, the more shards you can get, and so that's why you pick up the higher tier ones. So then you can basically make your own items. So this one's fractured. It's not gonna work. So I'll shatter this one too. I got some shards back. But basically, if you have one that's not shattered, like this one, and this has an implicit of minion fire damage, you could craft on it. And you go, what do you mean craft on it? Literally pick the mod that you want. Like I have 167 life crafts, and then you can just have a 96% chance of success, 4% minor fracture. Okay, we added health, 12 health. We added some more health. We upgraded the health again. We're at 33, 48. And we got all the way to T5. 58 health. Let's go again. Poison resist. And then this is a fracture. So you're trying to avoid a fracture, and I could have decreased the chance of failing by using a Glyph of the Guardian, but I was trying to show you. So Glyph of the Guardian would reduce the chance of a fracture and a minor fracture and a destructive fracture, so it would, you know, not happen as likely, and I would probably be able to keep crafting this. But I did it on purpose, and now I could scrap it. But basically, fractured means that you can't craft on the item anymore because it's fractured. So this cracked glass, and it's fractured. Yeah, you can't craft anymore. It's done. So you're trying to avoid the fracture while you're crafting on it, so you can keep crafting on it because you want to finish it. You want to make it better, more upgrades. This chest plate, by the way. T5, 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 T4, and it's not fractured. And I'm scared of a damaging fracture, so I don't do it. I don't know how different it is, but I didn't do it because it would rip my chest plate probably. So then we were able to fully cap everything basically, and our build's sick. That covers everything I wanted to go over that I know up till now, basically, other than like the base game. And the base game isn't very confusing, to be honest. It's very linear. You follow the quests. You shouldn't get lost. If you get lost, you just go back to the quest. Click J to open your quest. You follow the quests that you need to do. These ones I don't do because they're only XP and gold, and it's a waste of time compared to passive skill points, idle slots. Seems really good. Overall, though, hope this helps anyone who was trying to play like me, play my build, wanted some information on the stuff that I did. Basically, like a video where they can go through, look at the exact stuff, and then pause it and copy it. I'm sure people will appreciate this. And then knowing the order of the stuff too. Just basically trying to think of if there's anything left. There's like, I've covered a lot of shit. And the other stuff I could say isn't build specific, and it's more super endgame that doesn't really matter, and it can matter later if people actually get there, but it doesn't matter otherwise. The game is just kill monsters, get loot, get crafts, get shards, craft up your exact stuff. Oh yeah, I was going to say, I guess the final thing is with my filter, I'm going to be showing these mods, and then you would you would probably want to know what the hell you're doing. Shared poison, shared physical. We have health. Oh, wait. I just noticed. Is there more shared not on? Okay, that's it. Yeah, I try to have the shared on because that means me and my minions, it's good. But yeah, you can search for the specific shit too. It's so insane. So I ended up turning everything on, and under Acolyte is where you get these like mod specific. So then these ones, getting the levels to the skills is super crazy. And like what I was gonna say is it's very important to pick these up and to scrap these, and then we'll be able to craft crazy shit later. That's like the end game that I'm going for. So for example, Summon Wraith can be crafted on a body armor only. So you'd have to plan around this by making it where you make a body armor with an open prefix. So for this one, we have chance to bleed, damage reflected, health, and health. So you would have to cut one of these prefixes, and the chance to bleed isn't that cuttable in this build, to be honest. It's pretty hard to get. There's only a few places I've seen for now, like the helmet, the body armor, and then this implicit on the relic to get chance to bleed in an easy way for the minions. So I'm not really too sure about that. We'll have to see. Either way though, hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you guys have been enjoying the playthrough of everything. We've gotten all the way to the end of time. Timeline's unlocked. We're at the big one, 80. Quest echoes completed. Echoes completed 21, and we're trying to find the path to the 85. We got the path from this one up to 85, and then we're trying to, I guess, find this one to, I don't know, it might be this one, Spirits of Fire. Might go to Spirits of Fire. I don't know which way the path goes, but I've already done 21, and I'll actually show you as part of it. It's probably to end game, but basically all I'm doing is I run these maps, and I'm at echoes, and echoes just means basically the map number. So like I've done 21 of these, and to get the quest echo 23. So it's a lot. We're very far in. The multipliers, chance to slow, crit, strike, avoidance, health, void enemies deal 123 increased damage, and then we have I can do extra resistances and shit. But I think I've taken this video already too far. Just to cover the build basics and shit. I'm super happy though to get this out, because a lot of people were wondering how to play the build like me, and I think that I got all this stuff learned for the basics so that I can now finally put out this video so people can also copy, and it's actually good. I know for a fact that if they copy the beginning skeleton, golem, death knight, the teleport, and when they get their Wraith eventually, and if they copy the gearing of like going minion damage, minion health, and getting the reses, they're gonna fucking love it. I simplified the game for minion builds. It's great now. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm probably gonna stream some more today because I have more to unlock and more to play, and it's really fun. And we're at such a fun point in the game where we're getting to test and experience all this end game shit. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna take this opportunity to thank my Patreon. My Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support, and thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!